Fish in the Wild West is brought to you by Sandy Point Resort. Experience Sandy Point Resort's year-round lifestyle along the shores of Gull Lake in central Alberta. Tracker Boats, fish the finest. Adventure Destination International. Book your trip of a lifetime with Adventure Destination International and Thompson Camp.
Fish in the Wild West.
Welcome to another episode of Fish in the Wild West TV. We're here again, it's fall months. We're with Scott, the owner of Freak Fishing and Tours. Scott, what can we expect today?
We're going to be fishing the fall bite for the sturgeon. We get a good bite in the spring and then a good bite in the fall here again. Hoping to get onto some big sturgeon here this morning.
Yeah, we had an amazing trip in the spring, so I don't know how it can get any better than what we had in the spring. And you say there's a chance to go for some walleye after?
Yeah, the fall time is really good for the walleye here. The water starts to really drop and the walleye pool up in the deep holes. We could get into some good walleye today as well.
Well, we got the rods in now, and you can see we keep turning over because there's already bites starting to happen. Well, let's get to some fishing.
Sounds good.
We got one nibbling on this line. I just took it out of the rod holder and it's just a light tap tap. And as a walleye fisherman, it takes everything in me not to set the hook right now, but like Scott said, you gotta wait till you feel the weight of the fish, till they take the whole bait. It's driving me crazy. There he is. I don't know how, I feel like I got a real good hook set on him. But he's on there. So Scott's just clearing the other rods. We got one on, we just don't know, he doesn't feel like a monster, but it's a start. We haven't been here very long, maybe 5 minutes. Now that's the one that was nibbling at the hook there for the longest time. Give you some slack. So that's a, what is that, a 2-footer?
Yeah, that'd be 24, 28 inches.
Now show us how sharp they are.
So the skin themselves is like sandpaper. Smooth this way, but you go up and it's like sandpaper, like 80 grit sandpaper. They have a row, as you can see, the sharp spikes here, very sharp on the way back. There's a row here, and there's a row on the very belly side right here.
And that's a protective armor.
That's protectant. The smaller they are, the sharper they are, the more they're sticking out and very sharp.
You're saying on the bigger ones they wear down.
They wear down. They do, yeah.
And that's a prehistoric armor.
Absolutely, yep. Nothing's gonna mess with those.
Just a very unique, precious fish here in southern Alberta. Lake sturgeon in southern Alberta. Let's get him back in the water. Perfect. Let's get another one. And there's bigger ones that live in here, really big ones. So we'll rebait and get them out there. All of a sudden, I don't know, he's swimming right at me, but so do those sturgeon. Till they see the boat, and then, yeah, that's a sturgeon. This one's taking me for a little dance. Coming out of the depth. Scott's gonna handle him. I'm gonna get out of his way. Another beautiful dinosaur. You've never seen a dinosaur before alive? You're looking at one now. Let's get her back in the water. Oh, hey.
Hold your horses. We'll be right back. Closed captioning is brought to you by Sandy Point Resort.
Yeah. There he is. That's a bigger one. Right when I set the hook, he pulled drag. Oh, he's jumping. There we go. Scott, he's way bigger. Just try to keep this windsock here. He pulled drag as soon as I set the hook. There was no subtle bite.
You can usually tell right when you set the hook.
Yeah. So we got a windsock out here just to, as the currents come, we got a wind blowing at the side here, and the windsock helps keep the boat straight with the current and helps us detect bites. This is a good sturgeon. There he goes. He's still 25 feet from the boat. Oh. And we've only been in, this is the first of Scott's many spots. We've only been here 20 minutes. We've landed a walleye. We're literally just setting up the rods, setting up the camera gear, and so this is the second sturgeon of the morning. I'm gonna try. I've lost sight of her, Scott.
Let's pull her up a little bit more.
Yep.
She's hooked up.
Perfect. She's in the cradle.
Oh, she is.
Just gonna set this rod down and get the hook out of her mouth, show her to the camera. We took a quick measurement of her and she was 53 inches.
53 inches.
This is, how old would this fish be, Scott?
It's tough to say. When they get older like that, their growth rate really slows down. I wouldn't be able to guess what the age of this is. That's for the biologists.
Well, let's get her back in the water and let her live longer. Such a beautiful, can't even tell you, they just feel so odd. There she goes. Healthy. That was awesome.
Good job.
Thanks, Scott. That's the second fish of the morning. Like, we're literally just got set up here, and that's, well, you have many spots along here.
Many spots.
And there's all kinds of those wherever we're going.
Yeah. Different
Beautiful
holes.
fall day. Everybody's out hunting. We're out sturgeon fishing. It's amazing. Amazing. Don't rule out the fall fishery. There's some. That's a sturgeon.
It's got some weight.
Yeah.
You see how soft they bite?
Wow, I've had perch bite harder than that. Holy cow, I've had something here just nibbling. I thought we just caught a few walleye. And finally, just as soon as I felt seen the rod, like the line just twitch, Scott said, set it. And sure enough, it's a 2.5 foot sturgeon. I've had perch bite harder than that.
They're very delicate. With a big mouth, it's hard to imagine they bite so lightly. This one's got lots of black fleck in it.
We'll show that mouth when we get them up here and show what you're talking about, Scott, and how it works and why they can bite so soft.
This one's very sharp.
Is he really sharp?
This one's very sharp. So I don't know if you want a glove for this. It's not bad if you hold on back here, but you can see how this one's very dominant.
Holy cow.
On how sharp that is.
Can you see that on camera? This is crazy. That would do some damage. You can see out the sides, right off the top. So that's a young fish. He's got a little different coloring to him. He's got a lot of black speckles. Show the mouth, Scott, how it why they can bite so soft right off the bottom. And
So
they
it's just like a vacuum cleaner. They detect, they smell with these. They can smell what they want to, their food. And then they come along and this is just constantly sucking like this.
And that, yeah, because I barely, again, thought it was walleye nibbling away. Well, let's get him back in the water.
Hold your horses, we'll be right back. Fish on! Welcome back to Fishing the Wild West.
I haven't, he's been swimming, there he is. This is another, he's on the surface.
Yeah, he's rolled on you, so he's coming in backwards. Once he gets up to the boat, he's gonna unroll and he's gonna give her.
He did a gator roll.
Yeah, here he goes. He's gonna unroll here now.
Another nice sturgeon though. This is another really nice. He's still rolled, still wrapped up a bit. Boy, does he ever roll.
Yeah. That's their defense.
And I just felt the line come off of one of the, there he
There you
is.
go.
So you're gonna wanna cradle this one nice.
Yeah,
Hey Scott,
yeah.
I'll have to back up and I lose sight of him a little bit. Say when.
He's in.
Awesome. Okay, Scott's on this bigger one. It's a little easier to show them out just before we release them.
Big mouth. Again, their whiskers is what detects the food. And then big mouth like this is just like a vacuum cleaner. And they just constantly suck like this and suck up. And you'll notice with these sturgeon on how dark their gills are. They're a very dark purple to black.
And why is that? Because they are quite...
I don't know why, if there's any specific reason or if that's just what they are.
Well, let's get her back in the
Get
water.
her back in the water.
Thanks for the fight, sweetheart. Look at that beautiful colors. There she goes. Right back to the bottom. Yeah, that's a sturgeon. Oh yeah. We were just gonna stop for a snack. We said as soon as we get something in her mouth, we'll get a fish on. There's Scott's clearing rods. We've landed, we just landed that 51.5. We landed a 53 earlier, which are both amazing, amazing fish. I don't know what I have here yet. It's October 1st tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So we're here at the end of September. You know, across the provinces and the states, it's the fall feeding frenzy, and it's no different in the river systems. They're bulking up they're going to face 5 or 6 months of tougher living conditions here pretty quick.
So they're looking for the food for sure. He's a scrapper.
Yeah. Okay, you want to bring them to the other side of the boat? Watch that weight. You know, Scott, there's one other thing that I really admire about, they got the shark-like tail fin.
They do.
Like that, it just fascinates me. You look at most shark pictures, they have that same tail fin. Let's get him back in the water. He gave up an incredible fight. There he goes.
This Gear Talk is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
We take the dew worm. I start at the head. And what we do is we thread them on and thread them on numerous of times. So it ends up being just a ball of worm when you're all said and done.
Show the weight and stuff.
And then I pull it down. So it's a ball like that. Using a slip weight system. When you cast, the weight hits, and then this allows it to go in and out.
So that's moving with the current.
So the weight sits on the bottom, and then as the boat sways back and forth, it allows your bait to go in and out without your line getting tight. It's the system that I like the best for fishing out of the boat.
Join us on next week's episode for more tips and tricks like this.
This segment has been brought to you by Wild Guide Magazine, Canada's essential hunting and fishing resource. Fish on! Welcome back to Fishing the Wild West.
Conservation Corner is brought to you by Hull is Wealth, aligning your financial future so you can spend more time outdoors.
On today's conservation talk, I want to talk about something that's very close and dear to your heart, Scott, is the tagging, the sturgeon tagging program. Can you tell us a little bit about it and how you got involved with it?
I got involved with it through a friend of mine. He was in the tagging program, and he knew the amount of sturgeon I was catching a year and figured I'd be a great fit for it. This was my first year tagging the sturgeon, and I just find it so interesting, and the information that I get back from the conservation on the information of the sturgeon.
And so you went and were trained to tag these prehistoric monsters on your own time.
It is all volunteer. They do have meetings for us that we go at the beginning of the year. They do a run through on how they would like the sturgeon handled, how they would like the sturgeon tagged, how to do the measurements and all that kind of stuff.
Right. And on your own time, you've tagged over 150 sturgeon this year.
This year's been a good year. We have over 150 sturgeon that we've tagged for sure, yeah.
We didn't tag any sturgeon today, but we got educated on the importance of it. And you know, if you were talking to everyday anglers that were come out to fish this, what's the most important thing when handling a sturgeon?
You want to keep them over top of the water. In case they do fall or whatnot, you want them to be in the water as much as possible. So many people hold them by the tail and hang them upside down. That's hard on the sturgeon.
Yeah. And if you do want a picture, which everyone wants a trophy picture, as soon as you get ready to start fishing, have your camera out and ready. So really, you don't even have to just lift the sturgeon out of the water, just a foot, take the picture, release it.
Right back in.
Yeah. Well, Scott, I want to thank you so much for going above and beyond and protecting our fisheries and in conservation, and thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Just when the wind died down a little bit, turned on, it's been about 12 minutes in between the last fish. He's working the gear. And this here, one of the biggest mistakes you do angling with any fish species is when this is happening, is start tightening up your drag. I mean, just let the fish, that's what they're doing. They're playing themselves out by pulling on your gear. And it's happened to all of us. I'm sure it's happened to you, Scott. You tighten it up too much.
For sure, yeah.
Break the line, and then you curse yourself. So I set it for a nice pull, roughly about 5 pounds of pull, and then I just leave it be. Now, river fishing, Scott, I assume there's different times when you do have to, like if we went into faster current, rougher current, you may
You have to
to
tighten the drag a little bit.
So that's the exception. You gotta, the conditions, match the conditions, or your gear to the conditions you're fishing and to the fish you're fishing. We just got chased to the other side of the boat. Again, he's starting to play me out. He's getting closer now, Scott. I can see the weight. Here he is. I just got a glimpse of him. I'm no sturgeon expert like you, but I think he's in the 50 inches again.
Nice.
Now, is that a circle hook you use, Scott?
I do use some circle hooks. This is a number 1 Gamakatsu that I use today. There we go.
Give you some slack. I guessed him a little wrong. He was 48 inches. I thought he was 50. Just beautiful fish. Get him back in the water. There he goes. Well, Scott, I want to thank you for another amazing day on the river system here fishing for the lake sturgeon. It's just, I can't say enough about your trips.
Happy to have you guys.
Oh, it's awesome. Join us next week for another adventure on Fish in the Wild West TV.
Hours on this fishing boat. No cell
Look at this,
phone
Pete won't even
service
fit in
and
his
no
mouth.
remote.
What was he thinking?
Most that I'm all alone.
Only a walleye fisherman could have felt that way, though.
Fishing streams, living a dream. Living a dream, fishing
That's what he-
streams.
They're aggressive in the river system.
West.